Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of my storytelling, or if you want to call it storytelling storytime by April Garza part 2. So if you haven't seen part 1 of the video of me talking about true events that's gone on in my life, about how I started, or the reason why I'm afraid of sleeping in pitch dark, why I just my dreams and stuff like that. If you want to check out that video first, I will put the link of that video in the description in the bottom. Watch that, come back to this one, and yeah. So if you had already seen yesterday's video, well then welcome to part 2, and don't forget to get yourself a little snack. I was eating these Russell Stover marshmallow chocolates. I got them at Walgreens today. I love marshmallow and chocolate, and then I just got me a Dr. Pepper. So if you want to get yourself a snack, whatever it may be, and yeah, so we can talk about part 2. So yesterday's video, I'm going to give you some spoiler alerts if you haven't seen that first one, so just FYI. So yesterday's video was talking about the guy with the blue eyes that turned red when he came closer. So let's fast forward a few years, and yeah, a few years, because I want to say I was about 20 years old. So what happened for this one is how like events started going on and actually seeing it, and this is not basically a dream per se. So I had gotten married, and then I had gotten pregnant for my daughter, who now is 14 years old, which is Destiny. So Dan and I had moved into this trailer, and it was a really nice trailer. It was belonged to my mom's like co-worker that she used to work with her. Actually knew her because my mom works at the hospital, and she was selling her trailer. So my mom bought it for us or whatnot. We moved in. It was a really nice trailer. It was a 2-bedroom. It was just a young couple that just got married, like about a year, and then I was pregnant with my daughter. And it was a 2-bedroom. It had like a little island in the kitchen. The countertops were marble. Like, it was a really nice trailer. And it was parked in the trailer park, and it was like the first trailer that's facing like the busy road or whatever. And it has like a little fence, so whatnot. My grandma lives there now. So we moved in, everything was fine. I've never heard anything, I've never seen anything. It's just loud because the walls are thin, so you can hear things going on outside, especially if you have ever been to like a trailer park type of area. Like, all the trailers are kind of like near each other, so you get to really do hear a lot of stuff. Not only that, you get to hear the cars passing by. It's not like so bad, but you still can hear it, if you know what I mean. So I was fine. I was pregnant. Like, I was by myself. He would work nights. And his work is not that far from where we lived. It was just like literally like down the road type of thing. Maybe, I don't know, I want to say maybe like 3-4 minutes away. So it wasn't that like bad. I was by myself. Even then, my grandma, my mom, my little brother at the time, he was like really little, only like 10 or 11 years old. And he would come and he would just like play games with me, you know what I mean? Because whenever I was off, because I was working and whatnot. So anyway, so let's fast forward to having my daughter. So I had my daughter in May, and everything was fine again, all the stuff. So when it was time for me to put her in her bed, we had her own bedroom. We had the crib in it, but in the bassinet we had it in our bedroom. In the bedroom, we had our bed frame, which is to the wall, but I had just had her, so it was kind of like really hard for me to put the bassinet near me on my side when I needed to get up in the middle of the night to make her a bottle, or if I had to use a bathroom, whatever it may be, or get, so maybe I ran out of Pampers in the little area that we have for changing, or I need to go to her room for something. You never know. So it was like really hard for me just to get up from there. And Dan would get up also. Don't think it was just all me, but we would take turns, or he would get up, and it was just I'm just trying to get her, and I need to put my feet down and grab her. So I decided to put the bassinet in front of where our feet are at, which is in front of the bed, and we just end up changing our sleeping ways differently. So instead of putting like where usually like the bed frame, and then it's our head, we lay down, we kind of changed it to where our head would normally be. Have our feet there, and then so that's how it was. And so we had the bassinet near us, and then there's times where because I would nurse her, I would put her in the middle, and I would nurse her. She would fall asleep, get her burper and whatever, and I just she would sleep between us sometimes, and that's fine because there was times like she would cry unless I would put her in between us. So that it went and whatnot. So I remember it was late. Me and Dad, we would stay up. I would either be reading a book or I would be doing something. Like, I was always doing arts and crafts. I was drawing, whatever it may be. He was playing video games and whatnot. So then I would put her in the bassinet when it was time to go to sleep, and it was really late at night. And I want to say she was maybe a couple of months old. I want to say maybe like about 5-6 months. And I would put her in there, and I would hear her crying, like if she was like really, really crying. And I would be like, oh my God, like me and Dad would jump up. We would go to the room to go check, on her, to go get her. And we would go to the room, and she was knocked out. Like, it was weird. And we were just like, wait, what? And Dan looks for things like this because he's kind of jealous of me experimenting and things like that, because he likes stuff like that. And he's not a person that gets scared. He does not get scared at all. And I think he says the reason he probably thinks maybe I never experienced this because I look for it, versus me, I don't, and it just happens. But that was the first time he would be like, wait, what? So then it happened several times where we would hear her crying, literally crying. We would jump up, we would go get her, and she was knocked out. The one that really freaked me out was my mom had bought her a little toy, and you would roll it and it would make noise. It was one of those toys that would go off, and you would have to play with it to go off. And I remember I had her toy. No one's touching it. Again, it's just us three in the house. And I had her toy in the closet. I had to put up, pick up all her stuff or whatnot, put it in there. And then all of a sudden, her toy goes off in the middle of the night. And I'm like, wait, what? So we go in there, and it was just there. And it's it got quiet. And we're like, what the heck? So we're like, okay, whatever. So we go back to the living room, we watch a movie or whatever, and her toy will go off again. And this even also happened when we were in the bedroom, when we were going to sleep, and I can hear her toy going off, and I'll be like, Dan, her toy's going off. He's like, what the hell? I don't know where I think it's one of those toys where you would have to literally unscrew to remove those little batteries, the little circle batteries, because they weren't regular batteries. So I was just like, what the heck? And so it happened like that, where her damn toy kept going off, and I told Dan, you know what, that's it, get rid of that toy. I don't want that toy in the house. Get rid of it. It's just pissing me off. Whatever. I told my mom, we need to get rid of that toy because it goes off in the middle of the night. I don't know what's going on. No one's touching it. There's no vibration around that area. And I really wasn't scared, to be honest. I really, really didn't really think about it. I was just like, why is that toy going off? You know what I mean? And kind of not to think about it. And I guess it really does, versus if I was still pregnant with myself, then I would be scared. But I think when you become that mom, that parent where you're just so protective of your child that just goes flying out the door, and all you think about is you and your child, you know what I mean? So anyway, so that happened, and I was just like, oh my God, this is so crazy. So we got rid of the toy, and I started noticing, okay, well, the next part is where I had to go to work, and my grandmother would come and she would take care of my daughter. And I had this little bouncer thing where it has like a floor in the bottom and it's like a bouncer, and like she would turn. My mom had gotten it for her. You would turn and had like different little things for her to play with. She would go in circles and she'd be like going in circles and, you know, blah, 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 playing with something that makes music, turn around, whatever. I was at work and my grandmother told my mom. My grandma was like, I don't know why you told April. Like, she's sitting there by herself when Dad works nights. I just didn't want to scare her. Well, she was taking care of Destiny for me, and she kept saying, hey, Destiny, but she would whistle. And then all of a sudden, somebody would whistle back. And she was like, what? She's like, how is the TV whistling back at me? You know, and so she would whistle again, and they would whistle back. And she was like, okay. So she lowered the TV down, all the way down, and there was no sound. She put the TV, like, I want to say mute, because she just lowered the volume. And then she would whistle again, and they would whistle back. And she was like, oh, no. So she got Destiny out of the bouncer, carried her, and she was just walking around, you know, the trailer or whatever, and she would be like whistling, and they would whistle back. And she was like, okay, let's do something else. Like, it was just so weird. So that's the one incident that happened to my grandmother, at that same trailer that my grandmother lives in now. So I was just like, oh my God. So she told me, and my grandma was like, I didn't want your mom to tell you. And I was like, no, I'm fine. Like, I'm fine. Like, I'm not even worried about it. I'm not even thinking about it. But what was really strange, as Destiny was getting older, I felt like, because I would catch her literally talking to somebody or looking at somebody and laughing, and she would play with her toys, and she'd be like playing with somebody. And it was like, what the hell? Like, it was as if the ghost was growing up with her. Like, we would hear Destiny cry in the middle of the night or the daytime, whatever, back from her nap. We would get up to check out on her, and there was no baby. Like, no baby. She wasn't crying. Like, so it has to be like a baby ghost. You know what I mean? And then as Destiny started growing up to actually play with her little toys, you know, she would be playing with them, whatever, and then all of a sudden her toys go off in the middle of the night. I was like, okay. And then when she would start walking, and she would just look at something, and then she started talking little baby talk, and then I would see her like talk to somebody, and it was just like weird. Like, Dad and I were just like, this is weird. Like, normally a ghost stays the same age, I would think. I don't know. I'm not an expert I'm not a medium. I'm not any of that. I don't know, but it was as of that. Then when she got, I think, to about 3 or 4 years old, my mom was there. We had already moved out, so we had bought a house, so we were living there. My grandma still lived there. She moved in, and it was her and my niece, and I just had my second daughter, which my second daughter, I think she was about 2 years old. And so my mom was there, and she was watching them, and I heard Destiny look on the wall, like somebody was there. There's nobody there, and she was all like, that's my sister, leave her alone, don't talk to her. This is Ireland, my niece, don't talk to her either, leave us alone. And like, she would walk, and my mom was like, like, who are you talking to, Destiny? She's like, nothing, nobody. And she like just went and did her own thing. So it's like she still could see. I say a little girl. I don't know. I would say a little girl because I've seen things like which I will get to later on, but it was just so crazy. So something like that we would see. And just in that house itself, like I still hear things there. My older brother now lives there with my grandmother and the spare room, and now he's starting to hear things. But before, my younger brother and his girlfriend would live there, and they would hear some crazy ass shit. Like, it was crazy. I remember her calling me saying like, oh my God, like, why didn't you answer me? I'm in the bathroom and I'm over here like telling you, I'm here, April, I'm here, and you're not saying nothing. And I can hear, like, I don't even know where my keys are at. She's like, I can literally hear this, because I walked to the house and I'm always doing this with my keys. She's like, I can literally hear the keys in your hand. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she's like, you're here. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm barely leaving. Like, I'm barely going over there to go pick you up. And she's like, are you serious? And like, she was like freaking out. She heard footsteps. And it's not only her, because my uncle, he already passed away, but like, it's been 2 years. Even him, when he would because everyone's lived with my grandma in there now, because it's been years since I've lived there. And so I remember, like, my uncle, you would hear him, you know, walking, and you would hear him with the keys as well. And so we would always, I remember saying, like, I would call him, and I would be like, hey, and he wouldn't answer, and I was like, why isn't he answering me? And I would get mad. And then I would get out of the bathroom, I'd wash my hands in a hurry, get out, and then I would go look for him, and he wasn't there. So it's like everybody's in my family has had their own experience in that house. My mom, like I said from the last video, my mom, my grandmother, and me, we were like really, really close to each other. And I remember my mom said that she was staying with my grandma, because my grandma likes to stay there by herself at night. And it's not just there, it's just in a house general. She doesn't just stay by herself. And my mom would stay with her in case like my brother was working late, or he was going to come home, or whatever it may be, right? So she would stay with him. And I remember she was in the bed and she was covering herself, and she was like, oh my God, I'm so cold. My mom gets cold really easily. Like, she's super cold. Like, it can be like 70s outside, and to me that's still kind of hot. And she's like, I'm freezing. Like, she'll turn on the heater or something. Like, she gets cold real easily. And she said that she was asleep, and she's like, oh, I feel so cold. And so she felt somebody like do this to her head, grab the quilt and covered her. And so she was like, oh, thank you, Ma. Like, guess what we call my grandmother? We call her Ma, or I'll call her Ama. And the next day she tells my grandmother, oh, thank you for covering me. And my grandma's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, yeah, I told you I was cold, and you, like, you know, touched my head and you covered me with a blanket. And she goes, I didn't cover you with a blanket. I didn't do anything. I was asleep. My mom was like, what? And like, she got chills, and she was like, oh my God. My mom was like half asleep, so she didn't open her eyes. So she was like, I'm cold. And she was like, wait, what? And my grandma was like, I didn't touch you. So it was crazy. My uncle experienced one thing. He said that because he goes campao. Campao means like he's gonna go camp out. He was working at the oil field company, and so there's times where they leave for like a week, 2 weeks, or whatever, and he packs everything. So when the truck or whatever that's driving the truck comes and honks, he already has his bag to go to work in the rigs. And I remember my uncle was going crazy because he's like, I packed all my clothes. I had my wallet with my money right on top of my my luggage, and I can't find it. He was going underneath the cushions of the couch. He was going everywhere. He was looking for it everywhere. My grandma, my mom, everybody was helping him because he was leaving so early in the morning, like maybe like 3 or 4 in the morning, because they leave so early. And he couldn't find it. And he was like cussing, and he was just like, whoa, whatever, you know, fine, whatever. So he was going to sleep. So he went, I think he was going to go take a shower or whatever. And he comes out, and the wallet was just right there on the luggage, just sitting there like nothing. So he tells my grandma, did you find it? He goes, no, we couldn't find it. My mom's like, we couldn't find it. And he goes, what? And he goes, and Sylvia already left, which is my mom. Sure, he took off. And we're like, how did the little wallet end up just back in the little area where he put it? So it was just like really weird. It's just, I don't know, it's just really crazy. I want to say that there, because I would stay there a lot. My grandma and my brother's girlfriend would help me with my girls a lot when I would work in the city, and sometimes I would come back, sometimes I wouldn't, just because I was always on call. And I would say, because I was a manager at a hotel, so I would sleep there and stuff. And I remember I remember coming home, and I would sleep so I can be there on time to see my girls and take them to school. And that's when I started really getting sleep paralysis. And if you don't know what sleep paralysis is basically either you're having a nightmare. To me, it's like having like a nightmare, or you're just basically frozen, like you can't move, and you know, or you feel that you're yelling and you're screaming and you're like, help me, like wake me up, and you're yelling in the top of your lungs, and honestly you're really not, like your brain is saying that you are, but you're not, if that makes any sense. And you see things, which I would post a picture kind of like of image something, and you see things and you just can't, and your body's frozen, and you're trying to wake up, and you're just literally like this, and your eyes are like flickering. Excuse me, because I was drinking on pepper. That's when it started happening, was when I started going back over there and sleeping. My sleep paralysis like really, really took a toll on me, and Alex was having the same thing. She still has it, and it's a really ugly feeling. And I don't know if it happened because of that place, or it's mixed with the fact of being so tired, because I was literally so tired. I was always on call, working like every day. If I was off that one day, it was like only one day, and I was still getting emails, and I was still working on my day off. Like, it was intense, and it was really, really crazy. So I don't know if it had anything to do with both, but it's like you're half asleep, half awake type of thing. And then that's when I started, when my eyes would flicker, that's when I started seeing like two shadows in the corner. And it's funny because it's the same corner that Alex would say that she would see the two shadows, and my older brother would see the two shadows, and it was weird. And that's when I started seeing a little girl, and the little girl is like long hair. Her hair is halfway up with the bow, and it's dark. Like, her eyes are like just black and dark, and she's just like looking with the two shadows. So that's when I started seeing that, and that's when I started freaking out more. And I'm just like, oh my god, like, come on, body, wake up, wake up, I need to wake up, wake up. And it's just, it is the worst feeling ever. And what's worse is, like, you're so tired, so when you finally snap out of it, you're like, okay, cool, you go back to sleep, and it's happening again, and then you're like, you know what, screw it, like, I'm just gonna end up trying to get up not to go to sleep because I'm afraid to fall asleep. And it's true, I am afraid to fall asleep, because sometimes I get it still, and it is the worst feeling. And it's the worst feeling when no one's there, because I started to learn to teach my body to go like breathing hard, so that Dan can hear, or somebody can hear, and they'll be like, hey, April, wake up, April, wake up. And or they'll like shake me, and it's the worst feeling to shake, because I know you're not supposed to shake, like, wake up somebody like that. But it's like, okay, I'm up. Like, are you okay? I'm like, and I'm like terrified, and I'm like hugging him, and I'm squeezing him, and it's just the worst feeling ever. Like, I don't even know how to explain. It's just like the worst feeling. But that combined, I have some dreams, really crazy dreams again, and those I will tell you guys more about it. But those are the images, and it's just like the worst feeling ever. I literally had to Google it, like, how can I just, because there's not a cure for it, you know what I mean? Like, they tell me, when I was searching it says to not fall asleep, not to go to sleep on your back, because that's just going to trigger it, and that it's just the worst. Don't sleep on your back. Try to sleep on your stomach or on your side, but sometimes the side still can trigger it as well. So if you want more of it, just search sleep paralysis. It'll say on there. And that's when it starts insomnia. I have insomnia big time. Insomnia, I can't sleep. Like, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, okay, I gotta get up at 5:45 or 6 o'clock in the morning to get my girls up. And I just can't sleep. I'm tossing and turning and tossing and turning. And I feel bad because, like, Dan has to get up to go to work. You know what I mean? And he's like, hey, bro, you're moving. And I'm just like, okay, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to, watch a movie on Netflix, or get on my phone and watch YouTube, because I just can't. I literally cannot fall asleep. If I'm really, really busy, then I'm happy, because my body makes me go to sleep a lot sooner. If I can go to sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning, that is early for me. That is like 9 o'clock to an average or a normal person. Me, 2 o'clock, that's like awesome. Other than that, 5 o'clock. There's times where it was starting to do 7 o'clock. There's times it was doing 8 o'clock. And people are like, don't take naps. People don't take naps. And it's like, it's not anything to do with naps. I have to take a nap because my body is so tired that it's like, I can't sleep at night. So where am I going to fit in sleep? I mean, you know what I mean? And even then, there's times where I don't have time to take a small little nap in the morning, and I'm running around doing things and come back and I still can't sleep. That's like going to be like, 24 hours with no sleep. So it's just back and forth. It's just unbalanced for me. But anyway, guys, I hope you guys like this video and this little story about my grandmother and her trailer and everything that happened in that trailer. It's not scary. I still go there. I still see her. I still visit her. I just don't sleep there. Obviously, I mean, I have my own place and stuff, but yeah, that's about it. If you guys counter any kind of things about a special place or anything, let me know. But yeah, guys, if you're new to my channel, hope you guys stick around. I have the third part for tomorrow about this. But yeah, give it a thumbs up if you haven't already. Don't forget to slam the subscribe button, ring that bell to be notified for future videos. And until next time, I will see you guys in my next video. Mwah! Bye.